stuff, it doesn't matter if it's free. It's not free if I don't know how to do it and I have to pay somebody to help me with it. It's not free if I have to travel 10 times and it just costs me money. There's a lot of stuff that's absolutely not free. But said repeatedly was the opposite of help. She'd cost me time and money. I don't have the ability to keep jumping through hoops to make people happy. I'm not a millionaire. I don't have a whole lot of money. I don't have any. When it comes to all of the work that it takes to do this, people need to understand that my phones, all of them, they're all full of evidence. All of them. Communicating with me and typing doesn't work because you project things. And that's not just annoying, it's harmful to the victim. Now with the Twitter and all that stuff, I've been saying for years about my technological inefficiencies. And I've had a lot of people make fun of me because of those technological inefficiencies. I've also had to accept help from people like Ed. I like Ed. I'm unhappy with the fact that he was going to give me a bid. That's what I asked him for. I didn't ask for him to destroy evidence. I didn't ask for him to wipe a computer full of evidence. I try to communicate in an efficient way, but I've also got a lot of people who are constantly going through and trying to find stuff they can complain about. Anything to shut me up, anything to try to destroy evidence of the abuse that I've been through, or the fact that I spoke up. People show how serious they are about it by not giving me their full and undivided attention. When people tell me about their problems or start talking over me, you know what the primary reason is that I can't think over them? It's because I'm putting myself in their shoes at that very moment while they're telling me what's going on. I'm trying at that very moment to put myself in their circumstances. When I see somebody walking down the street, a homeless guy who's got newspapers and a plastic bag wrapped around his waist, yeah, I try to in the scenario. How did he end up in that situation? Oftentimes I'll offer him something if I've got it. If I don't, there's not much I can do. The problem is for 7 years that I've reached out to people for help. It's been they're too busy, or there's some technical problem. And they don't know about that. Like, it's just, I'm supposed to just believe them. No matter what, I'm supposed to just believe it. Well, if they're telling the truth, they should have no problems calling with me to the police and explaining that they have that issue. If you're not able to call in like you said you would, and I wasted a lot of time on you gonna help me, you're gonna help me, and you weren't able to, for whatever reason it happens to be, the fact that you don't come forward about that allows the police to claim that nobody was trying to help me, that I wasn't trying to get help. And those are two very, very important things to note. Then they pretend that I'm delusional and I made all of you up, that you're figments of my imagination. The problem is that it takes people so long to take it seriously and actually get down to business of looking at evidence and verifying it, listening to my story so they're aware of what's going on. It takes them so long to do that they literally never get around to doing that. And that leads to me being stuck out homeless, being harmed, being abused. financially and physically. It doesn't matter how many recordings I make of all the places that I'm sent to alone. It doesn't matter how much people tell me to download an app to my phone. If there's no room on my phone for that, I'm not able to do it. If I can't afford the gas to go to all these services for them to do nothing, I can't afford to do it. If it eats up a whole bunch of time downloading a bunch of stuff from the internet, calling a bunch of people by myself, it is literally not help. It's the opposite of help. It is harmful to me. And people don't get that. When I go to men for help, or when men offer to help, their help is usually to tell me I just need to man up. A lot of times women will offer to help, but then they don't get back in a timely and efficient manner. They drag their feet and take their time. They say that they understand and they'll make sure that they keep in contact. They'll ghost me for 2 to 3 weeks, or 6 months, or 2 years like Caitlin Tatum did. I know Caitlin Tatum in real life. We're not friends anymore. Because she wasn't able to help me. She wanted to act like a mandated reporter who was trying to backtrack and not get in trouble. And rightly so. She is a mandated reporter. And she will get in trouble. And she will lose her job. Come forward now. But that's not what she did, is it? Look at how much stuff that I have sent you already. And I want you to think to yourself, there's probably 15,000 screenshots by now, if not more. 15,000. There are many, 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 many threats against my life that I documented. Many of them. The problem is I am constantly moving from place to place with no support network in any of those places. They are not supportive in the things that I need. Nobody is supportive when it comes to actually turning in the cops because they make me go in by myself. Nobody is supportive about turning in the Bollingers or any of the people who took part in that. Because I'm a man, they all expect that they should be allowed to look the other way, and any excuse is good enough to look the other way. But that's the problem. That's how we end up in such a nasty world. Here in the United States, we've taught people to be nice, but not to be good. If you know anything about the Sykes-Picot Act, you know how divide and conquer works. The Middle East is forever torn right now between different religions and different languages, different ideologies, all separated by Europe. Europe decided those borders, not the Middle East. The point is that I need help showing the evidence. The reason we ended up in this mess to begin with is because we're all stuck on a big rock together, all of us. Whether you're in Germany, Israel, America, Palestine, Russia, Australia, the Philippines, whether you're Maori or Tongan, it doesn't matter. We're all stuck on a rock. Being nice to people, that's telling them you're sorry. This is what we've taught women to do is help here in America, is to say they're sorry. That doesn't help. I want you to stop and imagine that one of your friends was hurt and came to you today. Said, I was just hurt. How long would it take you to help turn it in? What if it was a she? Would you help to turn it in right away, or would you tell her she just needs to man up? She just needs to ignore it. She just needs to move somewhere else. You might have time next week. I can't download any apps onto any of my phones. I haven't been able to in months. Everything's too full. My back is too screwed up for me to carry my computer into the library to even use it in there now. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked, like why did officers tell hospitals that I was schizophrenic? Why did the police and the courts work so hard to prevent me from being allowed to go to court, to guarantee I wouldn't be allowed to go to court? Why did they work so hard to keep evidence out of court? Why did everyone work so hard not to look at it, to give empty promises, to send me on to other people, to make me call those places by myself? I followed the legal laws, guidelines, to the best of my ability without assistance, while all of my money was being wasted for a whole year before Natalie died, going to therapists who were supposed to help me because the cops wouldn't do their job. And what happens to this day? I get to send to somewhere else where I have to go to a therapist who tells me that all the stuff I need help with is a cop's job. I know it's a cop's job. They need to stop pawning me off on therapists. What I need your help with is showing the truth. But I also need you to be able to listen in a way that I know that you're listening, that I know that you've heard it. Calling me up to listen. That's been the biggest problem with nearly everybody. They want to reinterpret everything I type into something I didn't type. People want to pretend that because I had a squirt gun with jalapeno juice in it in case I was assaulted again, that I could defend myself with something because I didn't have the money for pepper spray. And my predators got to pretend like I was threatening to kill them with a gun. Predators who got busted with guns and methamphetamines. You get to look at my hospital records and see that there was only one time through any of this that I ever took a UA. No matter how many times I asked. I said, hey, I want to take a drug test. I would like to take a drug test. I want to pee in a cup. I want it to be listed what drugs are in my system. They wouldn't have even found Advil or Tylenol. But they never tried. People just write down whatever they want. They write down whatever they want. Whatever makes it so the hospital gets more money. When you don't use marijuana and you're in a hospital in Virginia, and you're telling those people that you don't smoke marijuana, that you quit smoking marijuana, but they want to write down marijuana use instead of giving you a UA. Hey, maybe we should take a UA. Maybe you should find out whether or not I have any marijuana in my system before writing that down. You get to see how my predators got to use things that were, number one, untrue, and number two, unrelated. My predators who are law enforcement and former law enforcement, they already know the protocol when you try to tell on them. Play victim, pretend that you're scared for you and your family. Antagonize the victim, and then omit information. Peg them as crazy and on drugs. This is universal nationwide towards all homeless people. You look at the 13th Amendment, read it in its entirety. Read the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Slavery is legal still in the United States. I'm going to end this video and hope that you have the time to listen to it. The thing is, what I need help with is taking what little I have, getting a GoFundMe started so that I can have some sort of income and actually have help sharing that GoFundMe. I also need help sharing the evidence that I'm sharing with you. There are literally hundreds of women who have promised me that they'll help me. And if I send them this, and if I send them that, and I send them the evidence, and they send back, oh, I haven't had time. People are hurting me. Physically, financially. I'm alone. My disabilities prevent me from doing these things for myself. And the people who are supposed to help me with that aren't helping me with any of that, and they won't, without people speaking up. And without the money to jump through all the hoops that they're telling me to jump through. Gas is not cheap. And it's not just gas. I have to pay people to help me move things over and over and over again. By the time I get people promising me that they are going to do their job now, I've already been in an area long enough that every service has already broken the law, and I've had to record them breaking the law. I need help turning that in. I also need help getting them to understand the safety issues that I am having to deal with, the reasons why. It also needs to be pushed. How many of my predators and how many of these facilities that I have been sent to have been closed down, arrested, or sent to other jurisdictions because of the crimes that they've committed against others? The exact same crimes they committed against me first.